I can start?
Yes, you're live.
Okay. Hello, Aortic Hope members. It's Tammy. It's a Monday. Josh and I are trying to get it together. He's really good about walking me through every teeny tiny little step. And he's very patient. But anyway, if you are here today, we're happy you're here. If you watch us later, we're happy that you're finding us. But at any time, please click the like, please share, and please subscribe. We're so close to getting to a magic number that'll make a big difference for us. So help us move along. Okay, so let's move on to Medical Monday. So Medical Monday was all about Marfan syndrome and Marfan awareness. And this is the month that's dedicated to Marfan, Marfan disorders, Marfan syndrome. And we're really, really lucky to have somebody on board with us that can answer any of your questions, send you in the right direction. But here's some really interesting information about this. So people living with Marfan syndrome are 250 times more likely to have an aortic dissection than the general population. So that's pretty interesting. And let's see if I can move some things here. To be evaluated for Marfan syndrome and related conditions, you need to have your heart, eyes, and bones examined by a doctor who have experience with these conditions. This is one of those times when it's really, really important to see a specialist. Don't Google it. Don't ask your primary. Go to a specialist. It's really important. The indicators can be very, very slight, and they can be at different degrees. A dislocated lens in the eye is a hallmark of Marfan syndrome. A special test called a slit lamp eye exam is needed for an eye doctor to detect a dislocation. So I did not know about that until I started reading about Marfan. I knew about some of the very common things like the physical appearance of a long, thin face, things like that. And I knew there were some eye issues, but I didn't know about that. People with Marfan syndrome may be disproportionately tall with long arms and legs and an arm span greater than their height. So your arm span should be equal to your height, which is one of those things that I learned as a developmental specialist. The other thing that was always interesting to me is whatever the width is from the inside of your eye to the other inside of your eye should be the width of in each eye. In most cases, Marfan syndrome is inherited from a parent. However, in about 25% of cases, the affected person is the first one in the family to have the condition. And that is true with many, many of the aortic genetic disorders. You could be number one in your family. So how do I go back now so I could, well, what I want to say is
Click the
Bill
little X
Barnhart,
in the top right
I can,
corner. No, the other right. Yeah,
this
right
one.
there. Yeah.
So if you have some questions and you want to get in contact with somebody, Bill Barnhart in our community is the liaison for all the connective tissue disorders, and we are happy to put you in touch with him. His daughter Grace works with the younger community, and she is a great representative for us. So there's two people that we can put you in touch with, any question at all.
I'm surprised we didn't get one of them to give us a Marfan Q&A this year.
I don't know. Maybe it's in the works. I'm not
Could be.
sure.
Could be. We might have to get through the Super Bowl before we can get Bill's
Yeah,
attention.
everybody was pretty consumed with Super Bowl this weekend and last week. So last week on Topic Tuesday, we talked about surveillance. This article was by Duke, I believe. We were talking about going over the surveillance of aortic aneurysms. And if you're part of our community, you've heard us talk about this. If you're new, one of the things that we talk about a lot is you should have a surveillance plan. And a surveillance plan is after you've been diagnosed or you had an event, you should be working with your team of doctors to have a sequence of what your surveillance should look like. Are you getting MRIs? Are you getting CT scans? Are you getting an echo? How often is your medication being monitored? What tests should you have for your medication? What symptoms should you be monitoring in between those surveillance visits? So this is what happens during some of these surveillance visits. So to review, an aneurysm is a bulge or ballooned area within the wall of a blood vessel that causes that area of the vessel to stretch to a size larger than its normal width. And for aortic aneurysm, if the diameter of the aneurysm is greater than 1.5 times the size of a normal aorta, it is identified as an aneurysm. There's so much discussion that happens in our community about, is mine too big? How fast is it growing? How do I know when to have surgery? And the 1.5 times the size of your normal aorta, that's really important, because if you're a 6'7" man, your aorta is going to be much different size than a 5'5" woman. So there's no blanket statement about at what size should you have surgery. I know there's lots of charts. If you Google them, you can find some charts about your height and the size of the aorta and when to do surgery. But that's just one piece of the information that the doctor will look at during your surveillance. In an aneurysm, the vessel loses its strength to accommodate different blood vessels, different blood volumes. This leads to higher risk of a dissection or a rupture, which can cause life-threatening bleeding or potentially death. An aneurysm can develop anywhere along the aorta, with most occurring in either at the abdomen or an area that runs through the chest. If the aneurysm is large and occurs in an area nearest to the heart, it may affect the aortic valve and lead to heart failure, as the valve is not able to function properly. In my case, I had my dissection. It was a type A. It was very close to the aortic root, the part of your aorta that goes into your heart. So I had the emergency surgery, but after my surgery, that valve just was still not working. And so 2 years later, I had to have that valve replaced. Once formed, an aneurysm will gradually increase in size, and the wall of the aorta will progressively become weaker. Just think of that garden hose. True growth of an aneurysm can be considered if there's a 3 millimeter or greater size increase in a year when compared to the previous similar imaging study, whether it's CT scans, whatever they use to monitor you with. Please note that there are factors that can use a different aortic aneurysm measurement that might lead to a 1 millimeter difference, such as the use of a different scanning machine, background artifact, motion in the image, or a different person reading and examining the images for the measurement. It's recommended that your cardiothoracic surgeon and cardiologist examine the scans and determine the exact measurement themselves to monitor the aneurysm. This is where it's really important, if you have any control over being able to go to the same place every time for your CT scan, for your MRI, even in the same machine. It makes a huge difference. But this is also why your doctor may not go by the written report. He wants to see those scans for himself because he knows how he measures. And I've had it explained to me that some doctors or some of the radiologists, when they're measuring, some will measure from the outside to the outside of that aorta or that aneurysm. Some will measure from the inside to the inside. I've even heard some will measure from the outside to the inside, and they do these diagonal things, and it's so, because that aneurysm isn't going to be just like a ball. They're long and curved, so everybody has a different way of measuring. You want your doctor to always look at those scans, not go by the report. And if you get a chance to see the report, don't freak out like we all have. If you see something that doesn't make sense, talk to your doctor. If you have an aneurysm, are at a high risk for an aneurysm, or have a family history of aneurysms, please be sure to reach out and discuss your concerns and screening options with your cardiologist or surgeon. And this is, so this was from Duke, and he says, stay healthy. So thank you, Duke, for that information. It's so helpful.
Hold on, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Hi, Molly. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Molly. Hi, Christina.
Christina says, I asked her how the herd was today, and she said, stable, thanks for asking. One sick one, but there is hope. And there's always hope.
There's always hope.
There's always hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always hope. When so I live in this tiny little town in Delaware, near the beach, and when COVID happened, there was a tattoo parlor that obviously needed to make some money, and they started making these signs. They're wooden signs. I'm going to say they're like 2 feet by like maybe 3 foot by 2 foot, and they spray painted the word hope on them in all these different colors. And almost every single person and business in my community has a hope sign out front of their house, and we've all kept them. So I like that word also.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
From a tattoo parlor.
Yeah, from a tattoo parlor, who also now carries antiques. So, okay. You may have heard of Dr. Milowitz in our community, but Aortic Hope will have a live Q&A with Dr. Diana Milowitz, hosted by Jack Crow, February 27th, which happens to be the day of my dissection, not the day of my surgery because I was misdiagnosed, but that is the day of my dissection. Coming up on 5 years, yay. So come join Aortic Hope live Q&A hosted by Jack Crow from Aortic Athletes as he interviews Dr. Diana Milowitz. Dr. Milowitz is a PhD and president is the president. I read this earlier and that doesn't make sense. Diana Milowitz is the president. I left out the word is. President of George H.W. Bush Chair of Cardiovascular Medicine, Director of the Division of Medical Genetics, and Vice Chair of the Department of Internal Medication at the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston. I have to take a drink after that. McGovern Medical School. I'd have a hard time introducing her. That was like one long run-on sentence.
That was a big one for sure.
Very impressive. So she should have great information for us, and she'll be presenting genetic disposition, exercise, and aortic disease on our YouTube channel. So the same way you joined us today, if you find us, that's the same way you will join us on that day, and you'll be able to type in any questions, and then somebody will read those questions to her. And if you want to stay anonymous, you can send them to aortichope.org, info@aortichope.org. So Diana is the author of the 2022 American College of Cardiology, American Heart Association guidelines for the diagnosis and management of aortic disease, which provides recommendations to guide clinicians in the diagnosis, genetic evaluation, and family screening, medical therapy, endovascular and surgical treatment, and long-term surveillance of patients with aortic disease across multiple clinical presentation subsets. Another long sentence. But obviously, she's very involved in our community and is very interested in serving our community with the most up-to-date information. And since 2010, the John Ritter Foundation has provided funding and support for the John Ritter Research Program, an independent research project conducted out of the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston under the direction of Dr. Milowitz. The focus of JRRP is to discover more genes that cause thoracic aortic aneurysms or dissection, understand the genetic and environmental risk factors for developing thoracic aortic disease, and collect data on other symptoms associated with the thoracic aortic disease. So obviously their focus is on that thoracic aortic disease. Any questions? Have both of you that are listening, have both of you had your genetic testing?
Remember, there's going to be a bit of a lag there, but I'm
Okay,
curious to hear the same. Yeah. And this
I
always goes
did.
into our Think Aorta campaign, Think Aorta, Think Family. 50%
Yes,
of immediate family members are going to have that coin flip, and that's parents, siblings,
yes,
children.
yes. So I did have my genetic testing, and it showed nothing at that time. You know, it's probably something that hasn't been discovered. So my family has not been tested since it didn't show anything. But I did get, so I'm 5 years out, I'll be 5 years out on the 27th. But about a year ago, I got this email that didn't make sense to me. And I realized it was from, I guess it's Gen X or whoever did my genetic testing. And it was a letter saying, hey, remember there was like this one gene that we told you about that we weren't real sure, it could be nothing. We've decided it's nothing. So rule that one out. So that was kind of nice that they stayed in touch with me. Okay. Therapeutic Thursday.
Hold on, hold on. And so Molly says she did, and there were no genetic factors contributed to her dissection.
It's kind of frustrating
Yeah.
because you want to know. It's like you're glad that it's not, and but you still want to know. So
And then Christina says yes, but never got anything in writing back. Just a phone call to say no no genes found, but we'll submit again through the John Ritter.
yes, I submitted to John Archer. I worked at a school named John Archer. For 30 some years was my school. I contacted the John Ritter Foundation before I founded Aortic Hope, and I saw that you could contact them and they would do genetic testing and help you walk through. But I never heard anything back from them. So I went through my doctor, my cardiologist, and actually my first cardiologist tried to have the genetic testing done. I was with Blue Cross and Blue Shield at the time. They kept denying it. And they actually said, the letter that they would send back, what they actually said was there was nothing left for me to dissect because I'm dissected from carotid artery down through the iliacs. There was nothing left to dissect, so I didn't need to know. And we're like, well, yeah, I have 2 daughters. I have 5 grandchildren. I have a sister. So when I went to my new cardiologist that was with the aortic clinic, she said, well, didn't you just have genetic testing for breast cancer? And I was like, yes. And she's like, okay, let's just slide in through there. We'll have them look at what you already have and they can test what you already have. And that's what we did. But then I think later on, I remember spitting into the little tube because it's just a saliva test, and she did send that in. But you got to be persistent sometimes with your insurance company.
Yeah. Also, the last time we had Ryan chime in, he said it's probably a good idea if you came back with something that was of no determination, like every 5 to 7 years,
Yes,
resubmit just to see if there's any new information on the genome processing.
that's what I actually I have a little book that I take back and forth to my doctors for my surveillance, and I actually just wrote that in my book that it's been 5 years. So do we retest? What do we do? I was interested in that. I'm just not up to the battle of fighting my insurance again. I do have different insurance now, so maybe it'll be easier.
Right on. Okay, on to therapeutic
On to
Thursday.
grounding. We've talked about this before. Molly, I'm really glad that you're here because I was going to show something when I saw that we were doing a grounding article. So how many of you heard of grounding? Grounding techniques are ways to help you stay calm and focused when you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. They can also help you cope with traumatic memories or flashbacks. I think we all deal with them in some fashion. So grounding techniques work by bringing your attention to the present moment and distracting you from negative thoughts or feelings. And here are a few examples. These are things that we've talked about in the community. Using your senses, look around and name five things. 4 things you can touch, or no, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. If you can't remember the exact order of those for the see, taste, just remember the 5 and just say, 5 things I can taste, 5 things I can smell. It doesn't matter, but it's a calming technique. And it really does bring you back into the moment. Do something very physical, like stretching or jumping, running, dancing. Any kind of movement can help you feel better and release that tension. How many of you have gone and just said, I just need to go for a walk? I have done that. Like there's days that I'm waiting on a phone call and I'm like, okay, I'm going out and taking a walk. Repeat positive affirmations. Say something that can make you feel strong or hopeful or confident. I am safe, I can handle this, this too shall pass. This can help you change, really challenge those negative thoughts and beliefs and boost your self-esteem. I feel like songs do that for me. Do either of you girls listen to a song that is like really gives you that positive affirmation of, trying to help change your mindset? Let me know if you have a song that does that.
I'll hold on. I got an anecdote here. Ted Lasso is a show on wherever, and they've got this one soccer player that's like, I am a legitimate man or something. I am a strong man or whatever.
I love it. See, but it's like, you don't know what's going to work for you. And you probably didn't like go seek that out, but you remembered it and you're like, oh, that'll work.
That was
Anything
hilarious.
that'll work. So, so then use an object, hold something that's special meaning to you, such as a photo, a gift, or a souvenir. Think about why it's important to you and help you, how it makes you feel safe. And this can create a sense of comfort and security. I don't have it on today. I almost always wear it. My friends, people that know me well, know that I always wear a necklace that's been blessed by my priest. And like I don't drive unless I usually don't go on a long trip, but I always take this miraculous medal and I always wear it. And when I can't wear it in the CT scan, I give it to my husband to hold and then I put it back on as soon as I come out. But anybody that knows me knows that that's like my comfort item, going through all the things we've been through. And the last one is practice some breathing exercises. Take slow and deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Count to 4 as you breathe in and out, and this can help your body relax and reduce that anxiety. I've shown you guys before, I do the, breathing in and out very slowly, and I can just doing this on my fingers. Nobody knows that I'm doing that, but just this really helps me to control my breathing. That's one of my techniques, and I don't have to have anything with me. My hand is always with me, so that helps. So what I wanted to show you guys, I'm gonna just jump up back to the guy. My daughter knows that I do yoga 3 times a week, and I don't know if you can see this, but she got this packet of cards for me. There's like 56 cards in here, so you don't have to do one every day. You could do one once a month, but this was yesterday's and today's. Yesterday was about grounding, which was perfect for this. So it was wake up, go for it, move up. Our culture celebrates going up and forward. Sometimes though, we need to redirect our energy downward to find balance. So grounding means to physically root down into the ground. It also describes a calm and centered and stable feeling, focusing on our physical connection to the ground, noticing the points of our body that can connect with the earth, and letting the ground support us and remove distractions and anchor us at the present moment. When we are mentally and emotionally grounded, we fully occupy the present moment with a sense of calm. Being both physically and emotionally grounded can serve as a powerful reminder that we are connected to something so much larger than ourselves. And so that was yesterday that I read. But then to this morning, and this is when I thought about you, Molly, when you joined us. So Molly and I are part of a meditation group, or I guess it's not meditation, it's mindfulness. And Molly and I have really, really gotten a lot out of it. But this was the loving kindness meditation, and this is what I read today. And this is what we do in the mindfulness group. But loving kindness meditation cultivates compassion, connection, and love. So this is what you would do. This is the suggestion for the card that I had today. Find a comfortable seated position in which your spine is easy and supported and upright. Close your eyes and take a few breaths so you're grounding yourself. Silently repeat to yourself something that broadcasts positive emotions. And so the traditional phrases are, may I be happy, may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I live with ease. And Molly and I, in our group, we have learned how to do this and to customize it for what we need. So right now, I've been waiting since Tuesday for a call back from my doctor. Haven't heard yet. Keep checking my portal. So this morning, my meditation was, may I be happy, may I be safe, may I be healthy, and may I be patient, because I just really needed that this morning. And Molly, I'll give you a heads up that I would love to hear what you do in the morning, or what time during the day. But what we've been encouraged in the group is to take a few minutes during the day to really ground yourself, think about what you need, do that affirmation, even write it down if you need to. So I have a room in my house that faces the sun coming up. I found one of these really nice pillows that you sit on. I don't know what it has in it, but it's really nice. I guess it's probably a yoga pillow. I don't use it for yoga. But so I come in and I pick one of these cards every morning and I read it. Sometimes it really hits the spot, and sometimes it doesn't hit me till later, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was what this morning was about. But even if you don't have these cards, you just take a few minutes, sit with yourself, might be with a cup of coffee, might be with your tea, might be when you just sit up on the side of the bed. I am safe, I am loved, I am healthy, whatever it is that you need. So I do that in the morning to get me started. Here's the secret though, I haven't done it in front of my husband yet. Josh will laugh because my husband gets up really early in the morning and leaves. And I'm always like, it's a kind of like, it's a very private thing, and I haven't done it, so I don't always do it on Saturdays. I kind of do it quietly when I get up out of the bed, as like, may I be peaceful, may I be healthy today. But if he ever retires, I'm going to have to make him join me in here to do a I am meditation. But so Molly, when do you usually do yours? I would love to hear what you're thinking about all of this.
So Christina says, for me, it's prayer.
Good.
Right? That's what I think too.
Yes.
Molly says, if I'm stressed or find myself speeding about, deep breathing really works for me.
Those racing thoughts is when I want to do it. Yeah.
And
Like
Diane Bishop joined us, and she said,
Hey, Diane.
Yeah. She said, first thing for me in the morning, Christina, another prayer. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. I seem to pray when I go to bed at night. I don't know. I guess it was the Catholic girl in me. I was always trained to say my prayers at night. So I do pray at night, a silent prayer for everybody that I have told them I would pray for them that night. But yeah, in the morning I would say I do more of a meditation. I guess it's more of a selfish time of like, how am I going to get through this day? And I remember starting it, not this formally, but I remember starting it right after my surgery. And I would get up in that chair. I had a recliner in my bedroom, and I would get in that recliner and I would think about, what is today going to bring? And you realize it doesn't take long to realize that your attitude plays a huge part into it. And that's when I started with the affirmations of what I wanted that day to be. And it has kind of grown into this after doing the mindfulness program. So thank you guys.
Oh, and
And
so Molly says, I will do my intentions as needed. It's not a daily regular thing. Right. And I said,
yes,
some days are easier than others. So I can see that, Some days are just
yes.
easy breezy, beautiful.
Right, because you get up and you kind of have an expectation for the day. You kind of know how your day is going to go. Um, so the next one is about emotional check-in. So it kind of slides right into that on Feel Good Friday. Did you know that the American Psychological Association defines happiness as, quote, an emotion of joy, gladness, satisfaction, and well-being? What does it mean to be happy and how to achieve it? Happiness is a subjective feeling that varies from person to person. Some people may find happiness in simple things like eating a delicious cake or watching a funny movie. Others may need more complex and challenging goals like climbing a mountain or solving a puzzle. There's no universal formula for happiness, but there are some general tips that can help you find your own path to joy. And here are some of them. So it's all the things that you would expect. Be grateful for what you have and don't compare yourself to others. And awareness of that, of being grateful, really taking stock in what you have. Surround yourself with positives to supportive people who made you laugh and feel good. And if you know me at all and you've watched any of these lives, you know that I talk about when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer, I literally just cut off certain people that were not positive. And I knew right away that I needed positive people in my life. And if they could not be that person for me, they were gone. And I don't feel bad about it. Do something that you enjoy every day, whether it's a hobby, a sport, or a creative activity. Learn something new and challenge yourself to grow and improve. Help others and contribute to a cause that you care about. Take care of your physical and mental health by eating well, sleeping well, and managing stress. And be optimistic and focus on the bright side of life. Happiness is not a destination, but a journey. It's not something that you can achieve once and for all, but be something that you can cultivate and nurture every day. Happiness is not a matter of luck, but a matter of choice. So choose to be happy every day. And then on that day, this emotional check-in was there, and we asked everybody, how they were feeling that day. I am a big believer, and I know this goes back to middle school days for me, that you are responsible for your own happiness. Like, I just realized that you can't depend on somebody else to make you happy. And your perspective has a huge impact on how your life turns out, or how your day turns out. So today, if I had to look at this feeling chart, I've been bouncing between okay and good, because I've been waiting on this doctor to call me back since last Tuesday. My gut feeling, and anybody out there in that, that's listening, I think you'll understand this. My gut feeling is that everything is okay, but what happened was I get a lymphatic massage every 2 weeks, and the lady's, she's the same person. She laid her hand on my chest on Tuesday, and she's like, something's different. You need to call your doctors. You need to call your surgeon. And she could feel all of my wires, but she said that something has happened in my chest and something has moved. So like no exercise, no yoga, no lifting, and I'm still waiting. And it's what time? 3:30. I went and had an x-ray. They ordered an x-ray on Tuesday for me, but I don't have the results. So I'm jumping back and forth between I feel okay to the good, because my gut feeling is I'm okay. It's not going to be anything big. However, every time you think that, you get the rug pulled out from under you. So I don't know. We'll see, girls, what happens. Okay, so that was Feel Good Friday. And this was a Survivor series. I hope you guys take the time to read these and share them. So this was about John Hayek and his dissection. He had a dissection while he was getting ready to pump gas. And the funny thing is, he said that that morning he kind of had an inkling that something was going to happen to him. He had a premonition, but he had also shoveled snow that morning for people. But his story is very interesting. No two stories are alike, but it just goes to show that there's a common thread between all of us. And so make sure you share this story. He was 47. I don't remember. It must have been during the winter. He didn't say when it happened, but it must have been during the winter. He had a type A because he talked about shoveling snow. So and then he talks about his mortality and how it kind of smacks you in the face. So his story is a good one. So go read it. And then relaxation and grounding techniques. So that was one of the articles that we shared last week, right along with all the other things that we've been talking about grounding this week. The largest concept to integrate is that we can learn to live relaxed. Let me read that one again. The largest concept to integrate is that we can learn to live relaxed. Living a relaxed lifestyle enables us to create a reality every day that we do not need to escape from. Constant input from the universe, society, and our own self-care choices can contribute to our wellness or our unwellness, or as they say, dis-ease. Some options for living relaxed, a journey through the senses. So some people like to use aromatherapy to relax. I know I have used that, and I also give that as a gift a lot of times. And then there's your breathing exercises again, breathing through the nostril and then breathing out through your mouth with your tongue open, and you can actually feel it, the breath going in and out. There's also one that I've learned in yoga, and it's you breathe in, hold it, and then you close the other side of your nose and it comes out that side. I don't know what the name of it is, but I know we use that a lot for calming in yoga. Site, create a clutter-free environment at home and at work. Experience nature, place a photo of nature somewhere you will see it often, and light a candle to set the ambiance for yourself. I think that clutter thing is so true. I became very self-aware as a young mom that when things felt out of control, I wanted to clean the house. And I was like, why do I always want to clean the house when I feel like so overwhelmed already? And what I realized was that if my dishes were done and the laundry was at least all in the laundry room, those kinds of things, the books were back on the shelf, that it made me feel better. I realized that right away. For some people, that might not be their thing. Also, experiencing nature. I told you guys before, I'm one of those people that if I can get outside for a few minutes, I feel so much better. I wish we all lived closer, that we could always like meet up and walk together. Taste. This one I think could go wrong because I am a stress eater, but you're calm conscious while eating. You can calm yourself by eating, sets space for sacred nourishment. So actually, what they're saying is, very intentional eating there. A routine of when we eat and regulating how much we eat is important for a regular and relaxed digestive system. So I guess swinging on those doors at 11 o'clock at night, like I do, like sticking the spoonful in the peanut butter because I just want to eat, is not the thing to do. That's not a balanced diet of anti-inflammatory foods. And we all know that we need to drink more water. So, and I do drink tea. I just don't feel like I only want tea when I'm really cold. I know that for a lot of people, having a cup of tea can be a very relaxing, um, act of sitting down with your tea, maybe a candle, looking out the window, reading a book with a cup of tea. Um, I like tea, but that doesn't do it for me. Um, I have no idea what this word is. Abhyanga, also known as self massage, helps to gently move lymph in towards the lymph nodes. Use an oil that feels good for you, and this and the season. Move from distal to medial. Restorative yoga, which is practicing moving into comfort, rest, and digest. Reiki is a great self-care tool for relaxation. I've had Reiki, I've gone to some Reiki classes. They're really good. I do enjoy my yoga. And I go for a massage, lymphatic massage every 2 weeks. That's who found the issues up here. But that's more because I had some lymph nodes taken out. But as far as the lymph nodes go, and touch, I don't know if it's touch as much, but rebounding. I've read so much about that lately. That's a really big topic, um, especially since COVID. But rebounding is jumping on one of those little personal trampolines, and just the act of jumping up and down opens those valves for your lymph nodes, which can really clear your body and let the lymph nodes do their job of clearing your body of anything that can make you sick and that inflammation and everything. So go jump on a trampoline. And then positive self-talk, those affirmations. I don't do it in the mirror, but it says with eye contact and conviction, such as I am enough. Calm music, nature sounds, and vibrational sound therapy. Also, silence is golden. For me, I jump back and forth. I'd like to hear what you guys feel. Um, I have to have silence when I'm sleeping, but to get to sleep, I do enjoy some calm music. And so I always pick the ones that go off in like 30 minutes. But I have noticed, like, I was in a room one time and my shoulders were literally at my ears, and I didn't know it until a machine in the room turned off. And I was like, oh, okay. But just that high pitched humming sound of a Coke machine or something just had me all wound up. But what about you guys? Do you have certain sounds that you like?
Let's see if they come back to that.
See what they
I'm one of
say.
those people that like I like nothing, no noise in the morning, right? So like while the only noise that I deal with
Like,
is uh is the electric kettle doing its job. You know, you fill it up with water and then you click it on and then it's just quiet until it starts bubbling and then it's
yeah,
poured into the mug and then
yeah.
it's quiet again while I sit down and just like I don't even turn on my workstation. I just it's two blank screens and I prepare myself for my day in
To
that
dive
moment.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have you ever I've had the I've had the sensation of when I've been like someplace and it's really loud, and I've almost had to go inside of myself, that I can force silence. And then I have had that sensation when I've been like in a hospital or something, and I was so tired of the sound, and I could force myself into silence and block everything out. And I think it's when it gets really, really bad, because I haven't done that often. But I remember thinking, gosh, I thought it was really quiet, and now I realize all the sounds that are around me. So it's
Right.
called self-protection, I'm sure.
And so Christina says, you know, when you were talking about your scans, she said, you know, call the nurse. They might have forgotten.
I have called, I have sent text.
Yeah.
I'm very frustrated.
And
I know it's not like I'm not at the top of their list, but tomorrow will be a week.
yeah. And then I
So
said just the same thing that I said earlier. I was like, right, that's the thing about the patient portals. So irritating, right?
yeah.
While we were talking about therapies, Diane says she's big on aromatherapy, right? Also big on shopping therapy. I said
I've
Karen
shopped
Karen calls
I've
that
shopped
retail
with
therapy.
her. I
Yeah.
have shopped with Diane. Okay, guys.
So hold on.
So
Molly says nature sounds, birds, rain, wind, etc. That's her thing. And then she goes, "I'll answer for Christina. The moos from the cows."
I love it. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of sounds that can be very calming. And there's certain smells like that are very calming that for me, and I think they're all associated with childhood,
Mm.
like the Sunday sauce boiling on the stove on, Sunday morning. Like that was what I woke up to every Sunday morning through my entire childhood. So Sunday sauce is very common to me. I don't like the smell of coffee at all.
Hold on.
So
Click on
that's
events for me before we go anywhere else.
okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, let's take a look here. We definitely have a
What's coming up?
full thing coming up. If you haven't signed up for bingo yet, that's tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Right there.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
sign up for that. And if you're listening and you've never done it before, you don't get an actual bingo card in your portal or anything. You'll get numbers, and you have to draw your own bingo card and then use like M&Ms or something to use that same sheet over and over again. And then the next hangout is Thursday that they do every week. I hear that is hilarious,
It's so
and
much
I keep
fun.
saying I'm going to do it.
It's so much
Um,
fun. We have crazy characters in there. And here's another thing, and because we offer it every week, every now and then people that are, they're hesitant to meet with us in a support group environment. Like they're much more apt to jump in and just kind of get an idea for what our community is like. So you don't have to share, you don't have to turn your camera on. You can just kind of be a fly on the wall. It's no problem. The conversation will just get carried all over the place, all over the place. Yeah.
so what is this? I don't know who.
Kim Nicholas,
Oh, Kim.
McNicholas. I'm sorry, Kim McNicholas. Yeah. She's an Emmy Award winner for a report that she did on, I want to say accidentally, or no, it was lost limbs based on late finding or something
Okay.
of the trouble, and then she found, I guess, followed that thread and saw that same kind of that problem pervasive. And so she shined a
Wow.
big light on it, and so now they're doing a different diagnostic to spare limbs because of her work,
Wow. That's
right?
great.
Yeah. So
So I didn't know about that.
yeah, we're excited to meet with her.
And then,
She's got her own nonprofit as well, right? So she
okay.
tries to share the awareness of this of kind of the results of what she did. And so we'll be talking to her at 4 o'clock on Thursday.
And then later that afternoon, what's next?
Uh, Qigong with Kevin Songer, which
Qigong
is
with Kevin.
so much fun. Okay, we're enjoying that. And the thing about what he does is in the beginning there he was doing kind of an introduction to it. It took a few courses, but then after that it just flows now. So when you get in there, it's 20 to 25 minutes of qigong flow, and then you can come back and pick the ones that you like. And almost all of them have been seated so far for anybody who has just gotten out of surgery and are just looking to start moving their arms, moving their waist, just kind of getting things moving again. Wonderful stuff.
And then the caregiver support group, that's scheduled that's Saturday at 10 a.m. That's
Hmm.
Eastern Standard Time, right?
All times are Eastern. Yep.
Okay, yeah. And then it looks like I'm back on the 19th. I haven't looked at my
Yay.
calendar. I'm back on the 19th. And then Dr. Yodelman is going to do a Q&A with us. He's so great. He's so dedicated um, to our community. So you don't want to miss him. And then the 21st, Q&A with Chef Rob and Minnie Seltzer. This is their second class coming up.
Yep.
And usually they will post their recipes ahead of time.
And you know what? That says 2 p.m., but I'm not sure if that's supposed to be 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. now. I'll wait for Rob to get back to us. He
Check
dropped
on
in to
that.
say hi in the chat there. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
still around.
And then the other things are our routine, but we do want to make sure if anybody, It's in March, but anybody that lives on the East Coast, we're doing another in-person fundraiser. It's a bingo, drag bingo. And it's going to be held in right outside of Baltimore, Maryland. So if you're
Oh,
within driving distance, get in touch with us. If you're in the Delaware area and you want to ride with me, happy to take you. See what happens. Love to
very
hear
cool.
from somebody.
Okay.
Okay.
So on the sound therapy, Christina chimes in and says, "Moose gets me up immediately," and she goes and she looks to her cow to see what's up, and Honey, which is one of her cows, keeps on looking at the bedroom to see when she's
Oh,
gonna
you
open
need
the
to post
blinds.
pictures.
I know,
I want
right?
to see your cows. You need to post pictures.
And so she does this thing on the Hangouts where she's like hanging out with us, and she's got the camera on her as she's walking out on her lands and whatnot. But it's like her and her cute little cowboy hat. She's awesome.
That's funny. Okay, guys. So if nothing else, I guess I'll see you next week. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And have a good week. See you. Bye.